Why is a cooler worth $200? We're going to talk about why, but before we get started, I'd like to thank my sponsor.
Today's sponsor is ScentWedge, the first and only custom-made, all-natural aroma designed for the Model 3. It's not an overwhelming air freshener, but rather a subtle enhancement to your experience that changes over time. It's 100% biodegradable, and for every kit purchased, they plant a tree. With many different scents, it takes driving your Model 3 to another level. I've had mine in my car for over a year now, and I love the smell every time I turn my air on. Get yours now at scentwedge.com and use coupon code Tasmanian for 10% off your first order.
All right, so recently I had a cooler sent to me, and upon receiving it, I was like, wow, this is an expensive cooler. $200. To be honest, I haven't really used a cooler in a long time. In fact, I'm looking in the corner of my garage because I have this old cooler. You know, one of the ones that with the wheels that you drag through the sand, and it's just gross. It's literally sitting there because I don't really use it that often. But a lot of times with our new Teslas, we're taking them out on road trips, and it may not be always cost efficient to be buying food out. So you probably want to keep some food cool. Or parents, you've got kids in the back, you got a baby. You need to keep the milk cold. So how do you do it? And what's the best solution for our vehicles? So I decided to take this cooler and just compare it to some other coolers out in the market to further explain the reason why it's $200 and if it makes sense. So I bought 4 coolers. I bought 2 from Walmart. They're both a brand called Ozark Trail. One was $20, one was $86, and then I went to the top of the line, cream of the crop. I bought a Yeti cooler, which ranks in at $300. So if you thought the Tasmanian cooler was expensive, yeah, you should look at the Yeti. And then I've got the Tasmanian cooler, which comes in right around in the middle at $200. But still, $200 is a lot of money for a cooler, so why is it $200? Now, in our cars, of course, we want to make the most use of the space that we're given. So we're packing bags and games for our kids and maybe bikes or accessories and so forth. And so to pack a large cooler can take up a lot of that precious cargo space. Now, one of the least used spaces is the trunk well. It's a space underneath the trunk. So ideally, if a cooler could fit there, it would be the best use of space. So let's go ahead and put all of these in the sub-trunk and see how they fit. Right off the bat, you'll see the Ozark Trail, this heavy beast of a cooler, doesn't fit. It doesn't allow the cover to lay flat, and thus doesn't enable you to use the trunk efficiently. Same thing with the cheap $20 Ozark Trail cooler. It too doesn't fit perfectly in the sub-trunk. If it doesn't fit in the sub-trunk, that means you've got to put it in the trunk. And that means you're taking away from space that's easily accessible for other things you may need, like clothes or toiletries or something of that sort. And lastly, we put in the Yeti, the most expensive cooler, and that too didn't fit. This is where the Tasmanian cooler shines. It is custom configured and built to fit perfectly in the sub-trunk. Now I ask you, people go, why do you need something like that? Well, you don't really. This cooler is not for everyone. But if you're looking for the best solution for your Model 3, I would suggest you look at this cooler. Think about this. If you go out and buy a suit, suits can range in price, but you can get a fairly cheap suit. Now, if you want that suit to fit well and you want it tailored, you're going to pay a little bit extra. So I can imagine that the reason why the Tasmanian one is a little bit higher in price is that it's custom fit. It's like a tailored cooler. It's kind of like a tailored suit. You pay more for a tailored suit, you pay more for a tailored cooler. The Tasmanian cooler is tailored for the Tesla Model 3. So that's 1.4 Tasmanian. Let's look at the design of the coolers. Now, the first one we'll look at is the cheap Ozark Trail one from Walmart, $20. This is your basic nylon. It's got a Velcro pocket on the front. It's got 2 kind of elastic net pockets on either side for maybe snacks or so forth. It's got an expandable lid that allows you to put a little bit more in there. It also has a shoulder strap, so you can put it around your shoulder, but you have to hold it from there too. It does not have uh, hand holders. Now, when we pop inside, we'll see that it's kind of like a trash can inside, so it doesn't really have thick walls of insulation to really keep whatever you're putting in there cool. So I wouldn't trust this to keep your stuff cooler than a couple hours before ice begins to melt. Now, outside of that, you really don't have much. One benefit is you can pull the liner out and clean it easily. But that's pretty much all that this one has to offer. Now, when we move up to the Ozark Trail, the heftier one, and when I mean hefty, it truly is hefty. This thing weighs a ton. It's super heavy, and I think it's because of the hard plastic that they've used all around it. I mean, it's heavy, and it's also inconvenient. It only has a handle. There's no convenient way to throw it around your shoulder and carry it as kind of like a bag. This is more, you gotta hand carry it, and I can just imagine this filled with ice and drinks. This is going to be ridiculous to carry, not more than a couple feet. Now, this one does offer some pretty good insulation because the plastic is so thick. They're not insulated walls, but it is plastic. Obviously, you have some measurement on the top, 2 places to put your drinks. You do have these rubber kind of locking mechanisms to hold it closed to avoid leaks. And it does claim to keep ice for up to 4.5 days, which is pretty impressive. But as we saw earlier, it doesn't fit in the sub trunk. It's fairly large, and you're not here to feel this, but this thing is heavy. I don't know if I want to be lugging this thing around, maybe to have in your car, but then you've got all that space taken up, and it's just sitting there providing drinks and snacks. Cool. So I don't know about this one, but it definitely doesn't make any points as far as design. There's no added benefits of other options to carry it. It's not sleek. I mean, it does lock, but that's about it. And you can put a lock on it, so I guess if you want to keep kids out of alcohol, sure, that's... Now, before we cover the Tasmanian cooler, we're going to jump and look at the Yeti cooler. This cooler is the closest to the Tasmanian cooler, so close as far as design and looks-wise. It almost looks like the Tasmanian cooler is a Yeti cooler, so they've taken a lot of the design elements from Yeti and brought it into the Tasmanian one, and at a cheaper rate, and that fits great. So with the Yeti cooler, obviously you'll see a lot of these loops on the front that allow you to connect it to other things and strap it, and so that's convenient and easy. It's got a hand strap. Also included inside the bag is a shoulder strap. The zipper is guaranteed as 100% leak proof. It's a tough, thick zipper. In fact, they even include some wax here to be able to help lube the zipper so that it moves easy. But you can see the thickness of the walls and the insulation that your stuff's gonna stay cold in here. But this is the largest Yeti that I could find, and it doesn't fit in the rear, and it's still, when you look inside, it's not that big. This looks like a really big lunch bag to take to work. I mean, it's just not effective. Maybe 2 6-pack cans of soda in there, maybe a couple sandwiches. So maybe on a day trip it might work, but yeah, I wouldn't, definitely not for $300. Let's look at the Tasmanian. Now, when you look at the Tasmanian cooler, it is big. I mean, I can almost not fit it in the frame as easily as I could with the Yeti cooler. Inside the Tasmanian cooler, you'll see in here, it's big. There's a lot of space. And the walls are just as thick as the Yeti cooler. So you're getting the same kind of performance and thickness in the walls. It just feels isolated. The other nice thing is that the Tasmanian cooler comes with ice packs. Just like the little things. Little things are kind of nice to have. Now, not only that, you've got the hand straps, you've got the shoulder strap, you've got a bottle opener that comes with it, just kind of nice feature. And overall, it's got a very cool look and feel to it with this blue accent on the zippers. But obviously comes back to, it fit perfectly in the car in a way that doesn't cut into me putting other things in the car. So ideally, it's got a look and feel that's similar to a $300 cooler at $200. It fits better than a $20 cooler, a $100 cooler, and a $300 cooler. So we're already 2 out of 2 here. So the final really test is, is it going to keep your stuff cold? All right, so how are we going to test this? With ice. We're going to put ice in 3 of the coolers. I'm going to leave out the Yeti because really no one's buying a $300 cooler when at minimum you can get a $200 one, the Tasmanian one. But we're going to test the $20 one, the $100 one, and then the Tasmanian $200 one to see how well it keeps the ice and whether it maintains the ice frozen or if it melts or whatnot. And then, added bonus. Wait. Just because keeping ice frozen is one thing, but keeping precious milk good is another. So we're going to drop these 2, one in the $20 one and then one in the Tasmanian one, and let's see if they last like 2 days. The ice has been put into the $20 cooler, the $100 cooler, and the $200 Tasmanian dollar cooler. And I put a bottle of baby's milk in the $20 cooler and the Tasmanian $100 cooler. Let's see the differences between the low end and the high end. In the meantime, while we're waiting on that, I do want to send a special call out to Tesla Joy. I'll put a link to her channel down below. She's come up with these really cool shirts, you know, 0 emissions, 100% joy, Tesla Joy. Really creative, right? In any case, why I want to call out this gear is because what Joy is doing is 30% of the proceeds from these shirts are going back to a nonprofit company called Water Mission. And what Water Mission does is it helps build, implement, and put into place water solutions for undeveloped countries. And I think it's a really good purpose, and you know, if you're going to buy gear, might as well buy something that's going back to a good cause. So I'll put a link to the gear down below. I think it's on Teespring, but I'll put that down below and you can check that out. In any case, we're going to come back in 2 days to check on the coolers right here, the 3 coolers. We're leaving out the Yeti one, but checking out these ones, and we'll see if the ice is held up and if the milk is still good. I may have to try it. This is going to be bad. Stay tuned. All right, so it's been 48 hours, and we've got 3 coolers to look at. One that's $20, $100, and $200. And in the $100 one and the $20 one, we've got milk, a baby's milk bottle, just to see how it lasts. So let me pull the milk out, and then we're going to look at how the ice did in the coolers. So let's get the milk out. So the $20 cooler milk right here, I'm going to put on the left side. And the $200 cooler, I'm going to put this milk on the right side. So right off the bat, I'll tell you the milk bottle that came out of the Tasmanian cooler is the coldest. So just looking at the coolers to see how the ice did in them, let's take a look. So here you'll see is the $20 cooler. You'll see it's all water. There is no more ice in the cooler. It's completely melted, and so obviously that's not going to keep the milk very fresh. This is the Ozark Trail $20 cooler. Now we move over to the $100 cooler. Now this one, you'll see there is still some ice left in there, a good amount actually, a really big chunk there. And yeah, but this one we did not put any milk in. This is the $100 cooler. This was the extremely heavy one, and also the one that doesn't fit in the sub-trunk very well. Now moving over to the Tasmanian one. Now, on the Tasmanian one, when we prop this open, you'll see a lot of ice left. In fact, you have 2 large chunks. Of course, in all the coolers, there's a significant amount of water, but still a lot of ice to keep the water very, very cold. Okay, so now we saw the ice situation. Let's pour out the milk and see. Let's do a sniff test, and then let's see how it pours out. First one I'm going to open up is the $20 cooler milk. It's lukewarm, not good. Let's. You can see water has gone in the cap too, because there was water in there. So I don't know if that's great. Oh God, I can already see there's. Oh God, I can't. That, it already is just disgusting. All right, this is the Tasmanian milk. It is ice cold. Like, it's very, very cold. Smells like milk. So let's pour them out and see what it looks like. Oh, oh yeah. That's, oh God, look, there's chunks. Oh, sick. That was disgusting. It smells, it's nasty. If you're a parent and you need to transport milk around, I would highly suggest you get a proper cooler. So what did we learn from this test? Well, you don't expect custom suits to be cheap, right? So if you get a cooler that's custom fit for your sub trunk that not only fits perfectly but works perfectly, expect to pay a little bit more. I feel like $200 is the good medium. Otherwise, if you want to go with the $100 one, you can carry on this brick, but it's not light, it's super heavy, and it's just not convenient. So my pick goes to Tasmanian. Great job, guys. And reason why it's $200 is because I have a discount code. Use Accessorize when checking out and you will get 20% off your cooler. In any case, hopefully you learned something from my disgusting test here and you end up getting a cooler. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button, and if you are not already subscribed, go ahead and hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. I gotta dispose of this fungus milk. It's disgusting. I'll see you guys next time.